Burlington Coat Factory.
Because they have more thieves than anybody.
Besides, ever try to say Burlington ladies, men's, kids, suits, shirts, sportswear, linens, dresses, furs, slacks, Coat Factory?
The price of money going down, down, down to the lowest level in almost 30 years as interest rates are dropped a full point.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. If this doesn't work, the Federal Reserve may have to resort to just handing out money in an effort to pump up the economy. Today, it cut the price of money to the lowest level since 1964. The discount rate was cut a full point to 3.5%. That's what banks get charged. And banks, in turn, are cutting the prime rate to 6.5% for their best customers. NBC's financial and economics correspondents are Mike Jensen and Irving R. Levine. Mike, let's begin with you on the short-term hopes for this move.
Tom, it's nice to have some good economic news for a change. This was a really dramatic move by the Fed to cut the discount rate by a full point. It almost never does that. And bankers immediately started to lower their rates. Many rates are now at their lowest levels since the 1960s. The new cuts, as they ripple down from the Fed to the banks to the consumer, are designed to help get the economy moving. The hope is that more people will buy homes, and some said today they probably would.
When I started back in October thinking seriously about buying the house I'm looking at, the interest rate was 8.5, and right now it's down to 8, and obviously it is prone to go lower.
Some homeowners also said they'd refinance their mortgages, giving them more money to spend for other things.
Well, we have a mortgage now at 10%, and if I can reduce it to 8 or something like that, that would reduce my monthly outlay. Yeah, and maybe I get some cash out of it too.
But no one expects the economy to come roaring back. There's too much unemployment and uncertainty.
I'm being very careful nowadays, and whether it drops another percentage point or not, I'm still worried about whether I'm going to have the job to be able to pay it off.
A lot of people who want to buy houses say they're still going to wait.
But the lower interest rates really doesn't have an effect on me because I don't know if I'll be able to sell something in 3 or 4 years from now once I've purchased it.
Also, people who use credit cards don't get any break at all from this. Most of those rates will stay up around 18 or 19%. Then there are people who live on fixed incomes, interest from things like CDs. They're very unhappy about the lower rates.
It's going to mean a different kind of return for me. I won't be able to travel as often. I won't be able to buy as much. I have to watch, what I'm doing with my money, which we're doing now, unfortunately.
With today's rate cuts, along with those made earlier, the Fed has done just about everything it can to get the economy off dead center. But most analysts say interest rates alone just won't do it. Tom?
Thank you, Michael. Now let's go to Irving R. Levine on the longer-term hopes of getting out of this recession. Irving?
Tom, sometimes it may seem we're never going to get out of this recession, but in fact, statistically, we appear to be in a better position for a recovery than we were during the last recession 10 years ago. Let's start with interest rates. Mortgage rates are at the lowest level in 14 years, 8.5%. During the 1981-82 downturn, rates were twice as high, 17%. Each 1 percentage point drop means another 250,000 Americans can afford to buy a house. Lower rates have enabled the Campbells to raise their sights.
As interest rates have gone down, we have increased the value of the houses that we're willing to look at.
Inflation. The cost of living is rising at less than 3% this year. 10 years ago, it was 14%. Low inflation means that people's wages and purchasing power are not being eroded, as was the case last time. Jobs. 8.5 million Americans are now out of work. Even with all the layoffs, that's fewer than in the last recession when 11 million were unemployed. More people working and low inflation mean that when confidence returns, more people will be able to spend the economy back to prosperity. Exports. Sales of American-made goods are at a record high. That means jobs in factories like this California electronics plant, which sells overseas.
Compared to 5 years ago, we have just nearly doubled our workforce. We're at 46 now, I believe.
Finally, inventory. Businesses have 12% fewer goods on hand than in the last recession.
At some point, the stocks in the stores get so low that merchants have to call up the factory and put in new orders. Those new orders create new jobs.
But none of this will happen quickly. We probably won't see convincing signs of a turnaround until next summer. And even then, it's uncertain whether the economy will come back to where it was before the recession. Tom?
Thank you, Irving. And Mario Cuomo's on-again, off-again presidential campaign tonight is off, period. For 1992 at least, mostly for sure. New York State's budget crisis was the official reason. NBC's Lisa Myers.
Millions of dollars.
It took 70 tortuous days, but this afternoon, Cuomo finally was forced to decide. In the end, he could not overcome his state's budget crisis.
It's my responsibility as governor to deal with this extraordinarily severe problem. Were it not, I would travel to New Hampshire today and file my name as a candidate in its presidential primary. That was my hope, and I prepared for it. But it seems to me I cannot turn my attention to New Hampshire while this threat hangs over the head of the New Yorkers that I've sworn to put first.
Cuomo said he theoretically could enter the presidential race later, after the state's budget gap is closed.
But I accept the judgment of the national chairman of our party that it would be in the best interest of the Democratic Party that I abandon any such effort now.
It clearly was a difficult moment for Cuomo, who would have been the favorite had he entered the race.
But I would be less than honest if I did not admit to you my regret at not having the chance to run for president.
Some close to Cuomo believe he still can run in 1996. Others think he's given up his chance to be president forever.
He had his best chance in 1992, and by 1996, the world had passed him by.
Although Cuomo's decision was terrific news for the 6 Democratic presidential candidates, they kept their glee under wraps.
And I have to tell you that at this very moment, I just feel great sympathy for him and great empathy with him.
And I believe that all the attention that's been focused upon Governor Cuomo's difficult decision now being off, the attention will restore again to this tremendous challenge of restoring economic prosperity to this country.
And this today from the man Cuomo had hoped to challenge.
If you'd have asked me yesterday, do you think he'll run or not, I probably would have brought onto the conventional wisdom that he might. I have not heard the reasons or anything, but I respect his decision.
The Democratic presidential race is now wide open. Unless lightning strikes, one of the 6 current candidates, men most Americans have never even heard of, will be the next Democratic nominee for president. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
When Nightly News continues in a moment, John Demjanjuk, evidence of a possible cover-up in the identification of a man convicted as Ivan the Terrible.
The Plymouth Sundance is the cheapest American car with an airbag.
Steve! Ah! I got power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission. Is that cheap? Is air conditioning cheap? A stereo? A rear defroster? Is an airbag cheap? I'm not cheap!
I'm inexpensive, cost-efficient, parsimonious. Plymouth Sundance, an intelligent machine.
Now get $1,000 cash back on Plymouth Sundance during our Drive for the Gold clearance.
This holiday season, thanks to Sears, you can give E.T., the most popular movie ever, for just $9.99. You even get a free full-size E.T. poster. That's E.T. in a poster for just $9.99. A great holiday value.
You can count on me.
You know, California prunes aren't just great snacks. They're good with breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. Why, the possibilities are endless.
Sweet, delicious California prunes. Find out how good they really are.
Who was Ivan the Terrible, the Nazi guard who killed hundreds of thousands of Jews during World War II? 5 years ago, the U.S. government extradited Cleveland auto worker John Demjanjuk to Israel, where he was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death for being that person. But was he that man? We recently reported new evidence that suggests he was not, and now charges of a Justice Department cover-up. Israel's top court hears an appeal on Monday, and we have more tonight from NBC's Robert Hager.
Demjanjuk was convicted on the strength of 40-year-old recollections of 5 Treblinka survivors, in spite of a Nazi ID card indicating he'd been assigned to another death camp called Sobibor, not Treblinka. And now there's new information, transcripts recently released by the KGB, in which 21 former guards from Treblinka all told Russian interrogators years ago that someone else, an Ivan Marchenko, was the one who ran the Treblinka gas chamber. It was the U.S. Justice Department which initially found enough evidence to extradite Demjanjuk. But now a government attorney who worked on the case has told NBC News that at the time, the U.S. did have excerpts of some of those statements of Treblinka guards, and he was concerned. He's George Parker, chief investigator on the Demjanjuk case until 1980, and this is the first time he's appeared on camera.
We clearly received witness statements from the Soviets regarding guards who were at Treblinka. And from those witness statements, we would have internally made a list of who there was.
Parker showed us this list of Treblinka guards named in the KGB transcripts he had years ago. Names like Marchenko, Nikoda, Nikolai, Rebecca, 18 names all told, but no one named Demjanjuk.
Yes, it was concern to us then, and I would say to you today, it's a concern to me now, that list did not include the name of Ivan Demjanjuk.
And were these transcripts made available to Demjanjuk's defense attorneys?
I don't recall. I mean, my best guess is that as of the time that I left, that they had not asked any questions.
But we showed Parker court documents in which Demjanjuk's lawyers did ask for names of all persons interviewed in any foreign investigation. The Justice Department answer? Objection. This is protected by work product privilege. That document was signed by George Parker.
I am dumbfounded to see my name on a document that says this is protected by work product privilege. I have no doubt that I signed that. But at the same time, I have absolutely no recollection of them asking those questions and us having that response to that question.
John Martin, Demjanjuk's lawyer at the time.
If they had this information, these documents, and intentionally withheld them from us, then obviously it's a cover-up.
And if so, who knew and when did they know it? The Justice Department is investigating. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
History was made in South Africa today. Black and white leaders sat down together to negotiate a system of government to replace apartheid. That's the good news. The bad news is old habits die hard. NBC's Skip McLean in Johannesburg.
Day one of the Convention for a Democratic South Africa started out with smiles and handshakes. Nelson Mandela gave part of his speech in Afrikaans, a symbolic goodwill gesture to the white government. And President F.W. de Klerk said he hoped blacks could join South Africa's government within months. It looked like the peace conference was going to be a love-in. Then the gulf between the races opened up as distrust between Mandela and de Klerk boiled to the surface. A sampler.
An organization which remains committed to an armed struggle cannot be fully trusted.
Even the head of an illegitimate, discredited minority regime as his has certain moral standards to uphold.
There is only one party sitting in this room with a private army and with arms caches, illegal arms caches.
Very few people would like her to deal with such a man.
He made very, very hurtful allegations against me.
The agreements signed today are supposed to lead to a constitution guaranteeing equal rights for whites and blacks. But the harsh words between Mandela and de Klerk suggest it'll take more than a day to transform centuries of distrust into racial harmony. Charles McLean, NBC News, Johannesburg.
When Nightly News continues in a moment, the expensive war on cancer. Why aren't we doing better?
Because sometimes the day ends and the pain doesn't. We've created Tylenol PM. It's more than relief. It's relief for those times when you can't sleep. Tylenol PM has extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever to help stop your nighttime aches and pains, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep. So you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
Late one night, the city slept. She didn't.
Having time on her hands made her restless. She dropped into a local night spot. The air smelled of danger. She was not easily satisfied. Then, exactly what she was looking for. Isotoner gloves. People can't wait to get their hands on them.
You can count on Sears for great Christmas values, like this 19-inch Magnavox stereo TV, just $299.99. On-screen display, terrific sound, just $299.99. Only at Sears Brand Central.
I was a dedicated beard wearer until my wife gave me the new Remington Microscreen Elite. It's quick. It's close. The Remington Microscreen Elite has 2 ultra-thin screens. So comfortable, shaves as close as a blade or your money back. That's Remington.
Our Daily Difference tonight, Friday follow-up. 2 decades ago, a stroke of the president's pen made cancer public enemy #1 in the health area. Billions of dollars have been spent, and tonight NBC's medical correspondent Robert Bazell brings us up to date.
Felt a little bit queasy this morning, but good now.
Mary Silva is in a sterile isolation room, part of her treatment for leukemia. She remembers talking to her doctor after the diagnosis.
The first question I asked him was whether or not I was going to die, and his response to me was, well, 20 years ago, yes, but today there's things that we can do.
Those things include massive radiation, high doses of chemotherapy drugs, and a bone marrow transplant. More than $100,000 worth of medical care, which gives her hope, but no guarantees. When President Nixon signed the National Cancer Act 20 years ago, some of the Act's supporters in Congress predicted cancer would be cured in time for the 1976 bicentennial. Most cancer has certainly not been cured. Here at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston and other hospitals, there is an array of expensive high-technology treatments, in part because of the $20 billion in research money that became available following the National Cancer Act.
We have seen a revolution in our ability to care for patients with cancer, and we're doing nothing today that we were doing back in 1970-71.
But all these new treatments do not mean people with cancer are living longer. With some notable exceptions, the war on cancer has brought little change. For most types of cancer, people are dying at the same rate today as they were 20 years ago. The death rate from lung cancer is up sharply due to smoking. The death rate for uterine cancer is down, the result of early detection by pap smears. And it is down for stomach cancer. That is because of refrigeration, Americans eat less food preserved with chemicals. But for breast, colon, and most cancers, the death rate has remained constant for many years.
I have to agree with what you implied, that we are not yet able to cure the major kinds of cancer in great numbers. The striking progress that we've made have been in a few kinds of cancer: childhood leukemia, testicular cancer, Hodgkin's disease.
My hair's growing back like you said it would.
20 years ago, these youngsters with leukemia would have faced an almost certain death. Now most will survive. For major adult cancers, there is occasional hope. A recent study showed that Taxol, a drug made from tree bark, can help treat breast cancer that is spread. The gray area is a tumor in the chest before and after treatment. The bottom picture shows the tumor has shrunk, but not disappeared. By far, the greatest achievement of the war on cancer has been what has been learned in the basic research laboratory.
In 1971, we knew very little. We knew things that were just guesses and hunches. There have been astonishing revelations about what makes a cancer cell, what makes it spread, what makes it go from its normal site to other sites in the body.
But so far, little of that has translated to patient care. When the day comes that most cancer patients have the same excellent chances for survival as this boy with leukemia, only then will the war on cancer be won. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Houston.
Well, Nightly News continues in a moment. Faith and hope, but precious little charity during this hard-pressed holiday season.
Searching for the perfect shave? Let Norelco show you what it's like from the inside. Here, there's a system for a close, comfortable shave that exists in no other razor. Our patented lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. So to look better on the surface, remember, Norelco shaves below the surface. Norelco, we make close, comfortable.
You can count on Sears for great Christmas values. Save $15 on this Kenmore Choice coffee maker, our best coffee maker at our lowest price ever. Just $29.99. But only through Saturday, only at Sears.
Think about your daydreams and what you would do if you won $1 million out of the blue. Miracles can happen for you. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
Which car should I buy? Plymouth Acclaim? I need automatic. Plymouth Acclaim? Driver's airbag? Yes. A good warranty? You get a choice. Affordable. Less than $12,500. And air conditioning. At no charge. Plymouth Acclaim. Maybe a Plymouth Acclaim. Nice idea.
Plymouth Acclaim, an intelligent machine. Now get $1,000 cash back on Plymouth Acclaim during our Drive for the Gold clearance.
I used to take aspirin to relieve minor arthritis pain until my doctor told me one Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin and is gentler to my stomach. For my pain, I prefer Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
There is a shadow over this holiday season. It is, of course, a time for giving, but in a recession, when so many people are in need, contributions to charity are lagging. NBC's Mike Betcher tonight.
The winter has been hard, and so have the times. Cadet Nancy McCoy braces herself against both.
Thank you. You have a Merry Christmas. God bless you.
This Christmas, for the 100th year, the Salvation Army is back, and it, like every other charity in this country, is in trouble. Demand is outstripping supply. There are more poor than pennies to help them.
See different faces every day.
Cleaner, softer faces belonging to the new poor. 20% more than last year, 1 million nationwide. Once they could have given, now they wait to receive. Every menu is a compromise.
Right now it's a fully balanced meal with all the 4 major food groups and all those wonderful things. In January it may have to be soup and sandwiches.
God bless you.
Another $1 in the bucket, and the temperature has dropped another degree. The kettle is half empty. The cadet prefers to say it's half full. But just enough is not enough this year. Too many are coming for help. The gifts could be cut, but who would want to make such a decision?
Do we stop feeding the people? With the crisis clinic program, do we cut our caseload down? With the Mothers Club, do we totally cut that out?
Reinforcements have been called to the kettle. Another buck is dropped in the pot. Another potato is dropped in the bag. Governments are broke. Private charities are the final safety net. In Chicago alone, however, the Salvation Army entered the holiday season with $400,000 fewer dollars than last year.
The middle class are hurting. As opposed to being able to give us money, they are in fact requiring our services.
In 1891, the first kettle fed 1,000 hungry people. They called it a miracle. 100 years later, the kettle and its keepers need another. Mike Betcher, NBC News, Chicago.
It is a despairing season, but in a moment, a silver lining.
You've just won $10 million in the American Family Sweepstakes. Congratulations. You can be next to get good news like this. You can get rich. $10 million rich just weeks from now. I'll announce the $10 million winning number next month. It may be in your mail right now. Only the sweepstakes with my picture. Be sure it has my picture. This $10 million prize can make you super rich next month. Hurry.
So you just got a cash advance, did you? Too bad you used an ordinary credit card. Because you could be carrying some very heavy interest charges. Why not carry the Discover card? Just pay your full monthly balance and a small transaction fee, and we'll forget the interest. Which means our money comes with no strings attached. It pays to Discover.
How's your sinus pain when you bend over?
It hurts right in the top part of my nose. I mean, my eyes ache.
Did you know all these sinus pain formulas have the same medicine?
Is that right? The Sudafed sinus?
They're all the same, but not this.
Dristan sinus? What's different about this?
It's got the modern pain reliever ibuprofen.
I would like to try Dristan sinus. Oh, it feels so much better. I mean, I don't feel any pressure at all. No sinus pain, no drowsiness. This is it, Dristan sinus.
Dristan, the face of relief today. Ford Motor Company. Profiles in quality. Pride.
When you get pride, you get quality. That's what I said back in '81.
And today we still have that same pride.
And from what we hear, a lot of people think we're doing a pretty good job.
You can hear the quality.
You can see the quality.
You can feel the quality in the way it handles.
Thanks.
That's what happens at Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln when quality is job one.
Even with this recession, it's not all bad news. After all, it is the 100th anniversary of hoops. NBC's Fred Briggs couldn't do a slam dunk with the help of a stepladder, but he does know a great game when he sees one.
If you talk about the brilliance of magic.
Next to soccer, it's the most popular sport in the world. It all began here in Springfield, Massachusetts a century ago at a YMCA training school, which is now Springfield College.
One December day, similar to this one, the athletic director called in his instructors. His athletes, he said, were getting frustrated being cooped up all winter with nothing to do except calisthenics and exercises.
He asked one of them, James Naismith, to invent an indoor game that would be as challenging as baseball or football. Naismith's idea, shooting a soccer ball into boxes. Nobody could find a box, so they nailed 2 peach baskets to the wall. And this was Naismith's team, the first team, playing a game far different from today's.
I think it was an evolution, like in everything else. Everything in our society got faster.
There was no dribbling, no 24-second rule, no contact, no hurry either.
People are paying money to see basketball, and a team would come out there and play catch.
They paid to see the barnstorming teams like the original Celtics of New York, the Cleveland Rosenblums, Buffalo Germans, Chicago Bruins, New York Knicks, and the team many call the best of the 20s, the New York Renaissance. It would be 30 years before the rules changed, before the tempo changed. One who changed it was Bob Cousy of the Boston Celtics.
The unorthodox stuff I was doing back in the 50s and 60s, today, every 12-year-old is doing in the schoolyard, and probably with more panache and more flair.
But may not have a Bill Russell to hand off to. Then there was Wilt Chamberlain, who became a scoring machine. And the way players scored, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook, Michael Jordan's slam dunk. Each innovator altered the game.
Playing basketball is like a war. You come up with these great offensive skills, and eventually the defense catches up with it.
James Naismith lived to see the game become an Olympic sport, but never dreamed it would be as it is now. Even in the 60s, few dreamed that.
In our wildest imagination, we didn't think it would reach the level it has now, and I think they're still scratching the surface.
And to think we'd be watching box ball if Naismith had found a box in 1891. Fred Briggs, NBC News, Springfield, Massachusetts.
That's Nightly News for this Friday night. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll be off for the holidays, so in advance, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you.